God and judgment. When we grow in our faith and we grow spiritually, and God enters our hearts to where our desires align with what He tells us, we start to also grow in self-righteousness. But my words hold no weight. Let's get into the word. Romans chapter 2, verse 3. Do you suppose, O man, you who judge those who practice such things and yet do them yourself, that you will escape the judgment of God? Guys, a lot of times when we start to grow in the Spirit, we also take this approach of superiority. And we think somehow, even though we have committed the same sins, we can judge people and we have freedom to judge. But we must remember that only God can judge. Another verse, Romans chapter 2, verse 17. But if you call yourself a Jew, a believer, somebody that is righteous, and rely on the law, the teachings of God, and boast in God. This is where pride comes into play. Somehow, since I've detached from my sin, and now my heart is aligned with God, now I think, oh, anybody that is in the opposition or doing things that are wicked is somehow below me. But this is a huge mistake that we make in our minds, and how the enemy creeps in to bring in self-righteousness, which is not of God, which he says right here. Whether you are a Gentile, somebody who is unknowing of the laws of God, or you are a Jew, somebody that is knowing and growing constantly in the Word, you have no freedom of judgment. Only God can judge. And just because you open your Bible and your discipline and your works align with God does not mean that you can all of a sudden pass judgment and that you are free of judgment. God is building up this energy, and on Judgment Day, you will feel the wrath of those actions, even if you think you're coming from the Word. But what does that make you? A Pharisee. If you're not familiar with what a Pharisee is, the Pharisees use word against people to demean them, to make them feel bad about themselves. But that is not what God teaches. Storing up wrath for yourself, that is in verse 4 of chapter 2 of Romans. In the act of doing so, you are storing up wrath for yourself. Do not become self-righteous. The only reason that you have the ability to understand and apply the laws of God is because of God.